Nowadays, if you turn on your TV, you see a bunch of, well, half-naked guys on basically any streaming platform. But back in the day, in the 1980s and 1990s, that was kind of a rarity in movies. In this video, we're taking a look at some of the best locker room scenes from films from the 1980s and 1990s. But before we get into that, I just want to give a special shout out to my Patreon members for supporting me over on Patreon. If you don't know, I also have a Patreon page where I show you stuff that I don't show or cannot show on YouTube. So if you want to check it out, there is a link in the description of this video. But for now, let's get back to the video and head towards the rainbow and follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
A story of the survival of the fittest. Every day is a duel of strength against weakness. Bad boys.
Bad Boys, starring Sean Penn, is a bruising coming-of-age prison drama about Mick O'Brien, a Chicago teen whose life of petty crime spirals into a fatal accident and lands him in juvenile detention center.
This is a juvenile facility. That means you are not in charge of the zoo. We are.
The film became one of Sean Penn's breakout roles and is remembered for its raw, grimy intensity rather than polish or being comforting.
What are you afraid of?
I ain't afraid of anything. I just don't want any of that.
Hey, after what you did to Viking and Tweety, man, you're it.
Although not technically a locker room, the film's charged locker room energy comes through the detention center shower and wash spaces. This is the scene that makes Bad Boys linger in mind. Sean Penn looks raw enough to be dangerous and young enough to be vulnerable, which is exactly the kind of combination that can make a private crush feel embarrassingly intense. And believe me when I say, the setting matters just as much as the performance. A prison shower room has the harsh honesty of fluorescent light, hard towels and nowhere to hide. It gives the film a pulse that is physical before its narrative. The rest of the movie builds towards conflict, but this is where the movie's hardest voltage already lives.
I've been offered a tryout with Hamilton Mustangs. I gotta play junior if I'm ever gonna play pro. All the scouts are gonna be there.
Youngblood from 1986 is a hockey drama about Dean Youngblood, a gifted farm kid who travels to Canada chasing the NHL dream. He has the skill, but he must prove that he has the toughness, patience, and spine needed to survive a punishing junior league.
Wanna go, pretty boy? Come on.
The film stars Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, and Cynthia Gibb, and includes Keanu Reeves in his first feature role. It remains a classic of sweaty mid-80s sports melodrama with a strong mix of rivalry, romance, and bruised masculinity. The ice action is fun, yes, but the locker room material is where the movie starts humming with a late teen, early adulthood charge that made so many people stare a second longer than they meant to. Patrick Swayze's presence helped the film enormously, even when he's not in the focus of the frame, because the whole screen identity carries confidence, heat, and authority. It also gives the film its best blend of athletic grit and unabashed looking, which is a big part of the appeal for viewers who remember being more than interested in the men than in the scoreboard.
I am not taking one more step till I know where I'm going.
Right. Yeah, I quit my job and you got me walking the beat again. And I'm not even getting paid for it now. Horses.
Can't Stop the Music from 1980 is a glossy, fictionalized disco musical about the village people's formation. Jack Morrell, a songwriter, tries to break into the music business with the help of Samantha Simpson, who recruits the group members and helps push the whole flamboyant project forward towards a stage debut. The film was a famous box office disappointment, but its camp reputation has outlasted the flop status and turned it into a cult object. The iconic YCMA sequence is the film's locker room centerpiece, with the scene then spilling into a montage of male bodies and athletic display. Can't Stop the Music is silly, overblown and shameless, but the locker room sequence turns all of that into its strength. It's not playing coy, it puts the bodies front and center and lets the sequence become a parade of confidence, cheekiness and group chemistry. The whole thing has electric charge of a movie that knows some viewers came for the music and some came, well, not for the music. And it's generous enough to serve both audiences at once.
Oh my god!
I think he's dead.
We can't just leave him here!
Oh, tell me, little Miss Prelaw, what's the charge for manslaughter? We make a pact. Right here and now we take this to our grave.
I know what you did last summer.
I Know What You Did Last Summer follows four Southport teens whose 4th of July night ends in a fatal hit and run and a pact to keep it quiet. A year later, guilt turns into terror when a hook-wielding killer starts stalking them one by one. Ryan Phillippe plays Barry Cox, who is part of the central quartet alongside Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. The movie was a major late 90s hit and helped define glossy teen horror movies that came after it.
Hello?
In the scene in question, Barry comes out of the shower and heads back to the locker room, where he finds a note waiting for him. The message announces that somebody knows what he and his friends did, and the scene escalates when the killer also swipes Barry's Letterman jacket. It's a clean, memorable little horror beat. His body, locker, note and panic. All the ingredients needed to make it memorable. The scene works because it takes one of the most ordinary male spaces in teen movies and make it feel exposed in a new way. The locker room is supposed to be where Barry resets, where the swagger gets put back on, where the jock shell is restored after a workout. Instead, the killer reaches him there, after the shower, where he's the most vulnerable and least offended. The scene also has the kind of sting that makes the crush more vivid too, because the camera gives you the full Barry package. You know, the confidence, vanity, irritation, and then the sudden fear that kicks in. Brian Phillippe had a look that was built for the era's glossy desirability, and the scene uses it well. It's not just because he looks good, it's that the film understands how a handsome guy in a locker room can become the center of the frame without saying very much.
You Murphy?
Yeah, I just arrived.
Papers.
Says in there I'm supposed to meet with a Sergeant Bradley immediately upon arrival.
Journey, the Absolution is a sci-fi film about a 23rd century agent, played by Mario Lopez, who goes undercover to investigate a military colony and confront its psychotic commander. The movie is known as a cult curiosity for its extreme emphasis on male barracks atmosphere. It is less a sleek space adventure than a high-concept oddity that keeps returning to uniforms, semi-naked bodies and institutional spaces.
You know, sometimes I wonder if Bradley has cameras in the shower. Seems like a type.
I keep telling you to watch what you say and when you say it.
Unlike the other films on this list, Journey the Absolution does not merely include a charged changing room scene, it practically builds its own identity around one. That is why it feels so impossible to ignore. The movie may be clumsy, but it is committed. It understands, perhaps by accident and perhaps by instinct, that the space between close on and close off is where a lot of the movie magic lives. And of course, Mario Lopez's screen presence is also the most important thing here. He has that kind of polished, easy, almost unfairly bright look that could make a routine corridor seem flirtatious. In a better movie, that would be the background texture. In this one, it is the main event, and the appeal is definitely not subtle. It is the old thrill of seeing an actor who seems destined for attention, standing in a setting where everyone is half-dressed, half-ready, and fully aware of being watched. It turns industrial sci-fi dreariness into a body parade. It is impossible to pretend that the movie is normal, and that is exactly why it works as a cult object. Locker rooms and jockstraps go hand in hand, and if you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy my video where I showed you the 10 best films to feature jockstraps. Just a disclaimer, you won't see nudity in that video because otherwise I would be demonetized, and YouTube is my main source of income. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, and a subscription would be nice if you haven't subscribed yet. You can also check out some of the other great videos on my channel. And thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.